Alright, welcome back to another day trading recap video. Today is Friday, April 22nd, 2022, and I'm going to recap the trades that I made today. Today I'm finishing up $57, so a nice base hit today. Not really much popping up. The best stock we had was VLON. That was the only move that we had, but it was really tough to read. I was finding it a tough time reading this stock. And I don't know, it had like a grinding front side that I didn't really like, and so I stayed away from it a little bit. But here you can see pre-market, it popped up, and I added small size and added for the breakout at 160 and took it off for a couple cent scalp. And then it bounced off the 90 EMA and VWAP and retested the highs again at 163, 164. And I started adding for the breakout. Took some off because I guess I got spooked on the tape. It was just so thick. Just the tape is so thick, and the trading ladder, the active trader ladder, is so thick, and the level 2 is so thick that it's really hard for me to read the imbalance on the stock. So I got shaken out for a little bit, but I was holding most of my position, and then I added that back at 168, and then I took it off for like break even or for a small gain. Really not much. I was only up like 15 bucks here, and then it proceeded to go another 30% without me, kind of just grinding front side. No really pullback to the 90 EMA, so it didn't really offer me any opportunity. I guess I could have gotten in for the break of $2, but it just felt like, as once it got up to $2, you already had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This would be the 7th green candle, and I was just supposed to just jump into the 7th green candle in a row for the break of a resistance level. Really, what a lot of times happens when it's extended is it'll hit the resistance point, not break it yet, and then pull back to the 90 EMA, which it didn't happen in this case. So, that's what I was waiting for. I was waiting for one more pullback to the 90 EMA so I can size into it, and it just kept grinding front side, and I just can't get myself just to blindly jump on the train without any sort of pullback. Here you got MITQ moving, the move that I was finally looking for. We'll see if that keeps going. Then it pulled back after that mega 30% squeeze with no pullback. Finally pulled back to the 9 EMA, and this is where I started getting into it. 205. I was looking for a bounce off the $2 level, and I scalped that for a 2-cent gain, and then I added 400 shares under $2, and then I scalped that for a nice 5 cents. Still holding some of my position. However, it pulled back a little bit more. I took off some for a small loss, actually. Which was probably not the smartest move now that I'm looking at it, but I was still holding 200 shares, and then it bounced back over $2, and that's where I started taking it off, and I made some profits there. But yeah, unfortunately, I did get shaken out there for about a scratch here, or a small loss. That's quite unfortunate, but here, so you really never know, if it's retesting on this candle. I think the reason why I closed it is because I was expecting, like, on this candle to bounce immediately to try to make a new high here to 210 and retest that 210 level. But because it retests the low, you never know if it would have just made another 5% gap down. So that's why I was closing out, just to cover my downside risk. So actually, now that I'm thinking about it, it was actually a smart move to sell a portion of that just to manage my risk. And here I got faked out to the upside. I thought this was a very tight ABCD pattern, and so this would be the higher low off the 90 EMA, and I was adding and looking for the break at 210, but did get stuffed, a small loss there. And then it dipped below the 90 EMA and reclaimed on a red to green candle. I thought this would be it to the break at 210. Started sizing in, and this candle immediately was a nice strong red candle, and I was able to get out for a small loss there. But this was a starter position. It was only $400, maybe about $300 position size. So I wouldn't be considered adding until it broke 210, and then holding above 210 I'd be adding, and then up to 220 I would be adding more. But since I didn't do that, I didn't add my full position, so I took a small loss. And that's sort of the strategy that has been working for me, is just by, I have my thesis, and I place my starter position, and if my thesis confirms itself by breaking resistance levels or holding support, then I add a little bit more, and I add a little bit more, and add a little bit more, and then as it breaks the resistance level and it's extending off of that level, that's where I'm starting to scale out of my position. And then maybe, if the market is hot and stocks are making solid front side moves continuously and not pulling back a lot, then I will want to hold a core position and then looking to add back to that position on pullbacks. But in this market, into the extension, I most likely am going to be taking the whole position off for a profit, and then regrouping and forming another thesis and taking my next trade. Because sometimes, it'll pop up, and then if you're holding like a core position, say you have 200 shares and you take off 150 for a profit, and then you're holding a core position, and then it immediately flushes down and you take a 10% loss, and you only had maybe about a 3 or 4% gain on your initial 150 shares, that 10% loss on that 50 shares is going to really erase all the profits that you just made. So in a weak market, I want to be taking my strategy, I want to be taking my full profit off. And part of that strategy is going to be me looking at the market every day and gauging the level of momentum in the market and the catalyst as well, and the float. And this stock here is very thickly traded, and the market hasn't been very hot the past couple days, so the chance of this really making a huge continuation move, having another leg up to $4 to $5 to $6 is very low. So I'm more cautious to be holding a core position throughout this move. Before, in a hot market, we can see stocks going, like popping up pre-market at like $1, and then, going up to 2 or 3 around 9 o'clock. And then by like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, it's already up at $5, $6. And it just has mega volume. Everyone's just getting squeezed out. But we haven't been having that lately. Then here, right at 9:15, we had a huge spike in volume pushing up to the top, and I just started jumping on this for the break of that high. And I jumped in that kind of high, 227, 229, 230, looking for that break of that previous high in the pre-market, 323, 332, sorry. And this took off my position here for a 3-cent gain here, then added back on a dip and took that off for a 1-cent gain. And here I was looking for the break of this level here at 237. So I added that 237, look for a move up to 250, but it has a false breakout, and I took it off for a small scratch. Here at the open, I was looking for a dip and rip, which we did get back. So we dipped down to the 9 EMA, and then it pushed up. However, I was a little bit late. I thought it'd pull back a little bit more and kind of test the longs a little bit before it popped back up. So I kind of chased it into 250, because 250 is a psychological resistance level, and there was a lot of volume on the stock, and I had just had a feeling it would break 250 before if it retested longs again or had a pullback. So I was adding in, but I didn't have a good fill. I was pretty much a scratch trade there. And then I added back, and this candle dipped, and I was looking for a new high at 257. That's the new high, and added that 250 of support. Now it's previous resistance is now psychological support. So it dipped down below 250 and reclaimed 250, showing strength on high volume. And I was looking for the break of 258. And again, not the best fills. So it was only a small gain there as well. But then on this pullback is where I made most of my profits on the day. As it pulled back 254, I scalped that for a quick 1 cent. dipped down again, 300 shares at 249, and then I was able to get that. I added again at 249, doubled my position off the bounce of 9 EMA, and I was able to capture 2 cents on that, so that was a decent profit there on big size. And then here I bought again at 249 for another bounce off the 9 EMA, and I scalped that one for as well a couple of cents, and I was still holding 50 shares. Then on this dip, I added to my position as I felt like there was still buyers on this. And, you know, my thesis changed from, you know what, I think this might be a bear trap because of just the amount of volume on it. And you could see the bottom of this wick being bought up. So I was adding on this wick and then adding into this extension, adding even more at 260. And then I took some off at like 262, 263. And then I added back at 265 because I thought, okay, maybe this is actually going to break the 268 level and make a rip up to $3. We just had a bear trap. Shorts are panicking. And it's on a front side move. It's the leading gapper. It's got a huge amount of volume. This is 3.3 million shares in this candle. This is insane. So it really could rip. That's what I was thinking. It really could rip past this and just be gone. You know, pull away $3.50, $4. We could really get that parabolic move. So I was adding back at the high of this candle, and then it pulled back. I added more, 400 shares at 259. I thought this was going to be a quick 1 minute pullback before we rip. And then I started thinking, okay, it's taken a while. It's really not in a panic mode right now anymore. It just took too long for it to break out. So I started closing my position at 254 on this candle as it was starting, you know, to dip down back and retest the 9 EMA. I felt like my thesis was broken now just because it took too long to break out. I really wanted to see like an immediate breakout here. And I was up at this point $74 on the day, which is pretty solid. But since I added back on this position at 265 and I took it off around 254, I lost about 25 bucks off the top. So finishing up $55. So that's quite disappointing that I lost some profit off the top, but you know, the risk reward was there. The volume was there. I really thought we were going to break through, and if it did break through, and I was adding at 268, and it was really going to gap up and make a nice front side up to 350, that could have really made my day. I really could have been up, you know, $200 again, 250, making a new home run trade. And I think the risk reward was there, so I'm happy that, you know, I added back for the potential move because I thought that the reward was there. So as long as I did, you know, I closed my position here as soon as it proved to disprove my thesis. As soon as it disproved my thesis, I had no problem cutting it. You know what? It's okay that I gave some off the top. And yeah, it's just a part of trading. You know, you're in it for the potential reward, and if the thesis doesn't work out, if it's not proving to be right, you need to cut it immediately. And because I was able to cut it immediately, I'm still able to walk away with $57 profit. If I wasn't willing to walk away immediately and sell it immediately, I would have held this down to VWAP. I would have saw this candle and be like, okay, this is going to be the dip and rip, and we're going to finally break through 2.6. I would have added here, and then it would have just flushed back down through VWAP, and I would have been deeply red on the day, deeply red. And I'm so happy that, you know, I don't have the attachment to these kinds of trades here because of the potential money that I could make if it went back up to 268. It disproved that it was holding this level, dipped below the 9 EMA. Now it's bearish. It's under the 9 EMA on high volume, and that's my cue that I'm done, that I need to cut it. And then here I had a couple backside trades. I saw it holding up VWAP, so I added back, and I did close it for a small scratch or like a small gain for the pop back to the retest the 9 EMA. I was a little bit too early selling this position, So it's a really small gain here. And then here backside, I thought we would retest the VWAP, but this is I didn't need to trade any of this here. This is a C quality setup, and it was closed it for a scratch. Here's also a C quality setup. I thought it was going to bounce back over the VWAP, but it's under the VWAP, and it's now on a backside move. So the risk was actually outweighing the potential reward here, especially because it's not making huge, abnormally high volume on this green candle. So yeah, the risk reward was not there here. I actually shouldn't have taken any of these trades down here. That was quite unnecessary. And that was a scratch trade though. So that was it on VLON. I made all my profit on VLON, and then I bounced over to MITQ. I saw that move in, and I was looking for a break of this high. We closed above this level here, which we really haven't ever in this previous on this previous bounce. So I thought we would break this level. We did break the level, but it was a false breakout, so I just closed it out. I really wanted to see an immediate test of 1.8 and then a move up, but I was a little bit too early. Here was the move that I was looking for, but it was such a small move, 4%, really, and then it had a huge backside flush here, so it wasn't even worth trading. I'm glad I just, traded at small size. Didn't really expect much, so that's it for me then. Finishing the day up $57. Nice base hit. We might get more on VLON. We'll see if volume is increasing right now on this candle, so we might find some support here and retest the VWAP again. And who knows, it could pull back under VWAP and then make a rip up, back up towards 250, and then back up to the highs. We might see something like this, or it really could just, reject right off VWAP and just go right down. So right now, I wouldn't be touching this until it's back over VWAP, maybe testing 240 and 250. Maybe I would put my starter there and then look to add for the break of the high. If it does retest highs at any point today, I would be super bullish on it, looking for a move, because on the daily, just look at the daily, it's the 200. Actually, let me pull up this because my 200 moving average is in there. So let me pull this up. So the 200 on the daily is at 330. So we're way off that level there. And it has a huge gap on the daily as well from this day up to $7. So as soon as we did break this level, 242, right? Yeah, we broke 242. So we do have room up towards 330. So who knows? I think we might see that move. We could see that move. But I'm not going to be sticking around to watch it. I have to go to my day job, unfortunately. So that's why I have to call it here. But nice base hit. Solid green week as well. Let me just review. So 57.14 on the day. Here on the year, I already surpassed the profits that I made last year. All of last year, I just surpassed it. So that is amazing. I still have 8 months left, or 7 months left in the year, and who knows where my P&L is going to be. Everything is pointing up, so I don't know. I might double it, triple it, quadruple it, 10x it. Who knows? If something happens in the market and everything just starts going bananas like in 2020, I could be up like substantially, or I could lose it all. Who knows? I don't know. But so far, it's looking good. I've already surpassed my 2021 profit. On the month, this is the highest monthly profit I've ever had so far. I don't want to jinx it. There's still one more week left, so anything can happen. But all in 2021, my biggest gain was only $337 on the month. This year, I am at 800, so I'm definitely making progress. In the weekly, this is also the biggest week I've ever had. $525 in a week. That is awesome. My previous best week was 168 in 2021, and in 2022 was at 194. So I completely blew away all the records I previously had on a monthly, a weekly, and a daily basis. So that's where I'm standing at right now in my progress. We'll see, May, June, and July, they might be slow. People say that the summer months are much slower than the winter months, but we really never know. So when we get there, we'll see how hot the market is. Profit factor is doing good. 1.46 is actually going up. My total cumulative P&L is looking good. My drawdowns, my average drawdown is around like maybe $100, between $80 and $100. I expect that to get a little bit bigger since I increased my share size. I wouldn't be panicking if I had like a $200 drawdown, because that would be normal for my position size. That's about 10%, about 10 to 15% of my average position size. So if I have like maybe 3 red days back to back to back, 5% red days, that'll put me about around $200 drawdown. Or if I have 1 max loss day, which will be maybe around like $150, and then like another day where it's like a 5% loss, then that'll also put me at $200. So I wouldn't be panicking if I'm down $200 in a drawdown over a period of red days. But I would be worried if I did have a $200 loss in one day. That would mean that I'm trading either too aggressive, or I'm over trading, or I'm not accepting my losses. So I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be panicking if I got down to 200, but don't want to get down there. I want to stay up in this level, about around 100 drawdown. I don't want to get too far down, because I want to keep my profit curve all at the top as much as possible. So I'm not spending too much time digging myself out of a hole. But okay, that's it. I really could talk all day about trading, but my trading recaps are a little bit too long. I want to get them down to maybe 10 minutes. But right now it's at 22. So I'm going to finish it here. Finishing the day up $57, and I guess I'll see you guys on the next day trading recap. Peace.